This case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the As such, Lyney...
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydra... I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon just knew it. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption not to set the wrong tone or anything.
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before, but our organization is very, very large, and
Right now, we want to save people.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about Right. So, you be the judge. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster, but still, I'm asking you to trust me.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first.
Of course. I'll answer any question. We've been trying to find out how the oratories operates. We want to know why during our investigations, we learned that the machine's core. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap.
Is that why you needed a whole
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 70. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnels.
Well, nothing. As soon as which should have been impossible, of course, I was quite... That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to... On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. After that, the homicide...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all...
That's the only way we can save every...
So, there you have it. It was never my wish to proceed under the... But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped. If we want to refute the Hydra Archon's accusations, we're... Huh?
Both parties have returned to their positions. When last we left off, Mr. Lyney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may...
That took long enough. At this age, let's revisit that scene from Lyney's perspective. Countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and he did not realize that the sound could be heard by... Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes. At this time, Howell arrived in the tunnel. So Lyney proceeded to knock him afterward. Lyney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through... And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. According to Lyney, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Hulk. Lyney went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. Lyney did not take part in the underground altar.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lyney did indeed, but he immediately used a vent to access the Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in which the crime scene had already developed by the time he finally reached the surface, and that was when... Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe—
That's right!
my reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, assuming that what you say is true, Lyney only needs—
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you two! Well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. Of course I do. If he had been... You're saying that he wasn't?
That's right! Lyney wasn't in. This means that when the crime happened, the same clue you used to disprove his alibi...
Well played. To think you'd use such luck. Well then, if it wasn't Lyney who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Could there have been a... Halsey is the missing person and the deceased's name is Cowell.
That can't be...
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. Lyney was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... No one entered or left the Opera House through... The sound we heard may have come... The deceased's name is Cowell. It would have been tough for both people to fit... No one entered or left the opera...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having...
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result
If only we knew how Halsey...
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has to... And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person...
Excuse my interruption.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Lyney was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our the sound we heard may have come from a clap. The deceased's name is Cowl. The vase was not broken by chance.
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanished. If there's a similar...
Just how could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we? Magic tricks are ultimately just...
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much, but given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it would...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be... Guards, please step into the...
We are still examining the items, but we discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are the primordial sea. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization. The notebook has many entries concerning safe use. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving...
But something so ridiculous actually...
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means... Wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that... Still, let us assume that these clues are... Guards, please continue, Mr. Lyney. It appears your hypothesis...
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many...
Right! Like the metal hut! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water...
The deceased's name is Cowell. Lynette was in the magic... I remember there was something else. The water from the primordial sea... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire... The rope that held the water tank up was lit. The rope that held the water tank up was lit. I remember there was something... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick.
It's aced in the original plan. Cowell would tamper with the water. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, though afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase, but he encountered something unexpected in...
That does make...
That actually links together a lot.
Oh dear, what do I do?
Now, it seems like the only point of content... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice...
On that note, the guards have just... I shall now invite him on stage to share...
Thank you, Your Honor. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea.
What?
That can't be. Oh, does this not click, my dear citizens? Lyney did not need to take part in the dissolution, having made modifications to the props beforehand. But upon his return, and ultimately, he knocked Cowell out. And now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously... Am I right, Miss?
We've used up all the evidence we collect. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Seems using the water as new evidence.
I think we've all seen, and I believe this is indeed the... Now then, my good, noble...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must...
Miss, I must ask you not to...
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupt. I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young... What in the world is she...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous... Come on, Lyney and Lynette. Give it another go. But as the magic makers and stars of the show...
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of... I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew it...
That'll teach you to underestimate...
Where should I begin?
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. I heard that Lyney's show was gonna be a real thriller. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here, but I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I...
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. Lyney even mentioned that you were...
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then he even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason. I wasn't going to take that lying down. There was nowhere to run from there, though. So I had to change my clothes and hide in a box. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would... Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic...
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't...
This time, we need to tell the entire story. Seems this won't... The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up. Lillian...
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had... He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed, the two broke the flower vase during the struggle. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and... She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons.
At this point, all the...
Ah, so that...
Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina. Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I...
What? Are you reading my... No. I have no further argument.
Wow! Look at that!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, with some modifications to the selector, he could ensure to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank. Using the fireworks at the end of the performance, he poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all planned, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and... As for Lyney, he was in the underground. From this reconstruction of events,
Hooray, Lyney and Lynette!
While there is much in Lyney and Lillian's conduct that this case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the... As such, Lyney...
Great work, part.
Thank you all so much.
Next, I think we deserve... How did you find the water from the primordial...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not... I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way...
I was just we were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Lyney, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the...
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, therefore you would be wise to tell
Yes! I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause it can also be made into a potion, which when extremely dilute... We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lyney...
I know you may not want to speak to me, but still. Let me thank you again for defending me to the end. I guess. But I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goal... That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave...
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? Your father?
That's right. And since we're here, back when our parents first died, Lynette, to survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older... I took my sister through several streets until to my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular. And we could at least stop before long, an aristocrat came to me.
So you went from orphans to nobility?
That was how we felt at first, too. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster, he would constantly take me to all sorts of
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took after one particular performance at a banquet. I waited a long time after we returned home. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so...
Oh no. But wouldn't Fontaine...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood.
So, she'd already taken...
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm. Father, I mean, the Knave. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. I was hesitant to trust her. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken...
So that's how the two of you joined the House of the Heart?
She has her own... She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it.
So, she believes...
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are to us orphans the only connection we have left to this.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge...
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Lyney!
Hey there! What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're... And given that there's new evidence...
Ah, I see. Well, I won't look sorry. I might have been too
Don't say that, Navia.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a Sorry about that. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal?
Huh? Do we really need to get...
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it...
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court...
All right, then. Let's have our farewell